right, we'll call the order at 6:30. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. All right. So next up, let's start with citizens communication. We have 3, but before we do citizens communication, I do just want to say that because of the unexpected absence of 2 of our board members, the item 7, which is the fire breaks, items 12, which is beekeeping considerations, and 13, chicken coop in Germano Park, with the chicken tenders, those will be discussed at the July meeting, again, because I know those board members want to be here to discuss that. So that being said, you are more than welcome to discuss any item that you'd like in front of the board, and we will certainly listen, but I did just want you to know that. So, Brett, sir, you are first.
Cool, I'll just make a few comments.
Please.
Everyone, so, as you know, the gardeners want to put some bees in the, community garden. After the last meeting, it seems like it's weird being in here without an angry mob the first time. It's strange. But there was a little division at first. We've held several, opportunities for people to come out and actually talk and learn what we're looking to do. Several showed up, even some in opposition, which is really great because that's what we're looking to find out is, what are your, as a neighbor, what are your inputs, what are your, problems that you see? Let me ask you honestly. And so we've touched base with some people, since we're tabling it for a while. Still open to talk to anybody that wants to talk about it. I think that there's a stigma about bees, about things that sting. But safety is the #1 concern. Obviously, I don't want anybody to get stung. I don't think that there is a safety risk, but I'm here if you have any questions, particulars that you want to know about, that people should know about, I can answer for you. If not, I'll carry on.
Thank you so much, sir. If you wouldn't mind, I forgot to ask you again, if you wouldn't mind saying your name just for the.
Oh, Brett Barr.
Thank you, sir.
Cool.
Appreciate it. All right, Mark, please. If you wouldn't mind saying your name.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark Pinchot, and I'm gonna keep this real brief. It's more about the decision that's coming up to spray for mosquitoes. My house backs onto Comanche Park, and I know at the last meeting, Robert had suggested we spray there instead of here. Just one thing, Robert's been to my garden, Ursula's been to my garden. It's taken my wife and I about 7 years to build that up to where it's at right now. And I really do hope that the mud will reconsider spraying a bunch of poison that could just ruin my gardens. That's all I want to say on the matter. Happy voting.
Got your own little biome back there. Garden friendly biome.
There you go.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Sedge. If you wouldn't mind, please say your name.
I'm Sedge Downing, and I was here to talk about the chicken tenders, and kind of, the conversation there and be available for questions. I think I shared most of the details of that last meeting, but looking forward to talking again in July, and happy to answer any questions that might come up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Excellent. Any other citizens communications? Okay, great. Then that item being closed, we'll move on to number 2, which is Jim with.
Yes. Great to be back again. Sorry, I'm kind of happy with this last month, but all good. Jim Chikini with NFM. As you know, we're always here to talk about project milestones, updates, and any information that's going to affect the community or significant work that's going on. With regard to old business, we're still posting on cedarview.com, monthly updates, aerial photos. You can see the progress that's been taking place. It's been transformational month to month. It's a lot of work going on out there. Had some great experiences last month as well as this month with some neighbors. Neighbors over along the creek and the park, they had some questions, and, you know, I take it upon myself to really embrace it personally, so I go over and talk to them, look at some of the issues or concerns they may have, and try to understand what our site's about. We had them put their construction boots on and blue jeans and gave them PPE and toured them on the site. And they're like, wow, they're really impressed with what we're doing and the approach that we're taking and the thoughtfulness and care that we're giving to it. So just want to report that, the neighbors have been fantastic. We can talk about the buffer zone in a little bit, but you know, we got the 3 key projects, as we all know about, and it's all public information. One is the NFM store. The second is the Shields All Goods Sporting Goods store. And last is the hotel and convention center that we're building. But Shields is still on schedule for the October 26th turnover. They haven't budged on that date. They're doing an extremely good job. As a matter of fact, as of August of this year, they will be dried-in, so they'll be under roof. So most of the work, there's still be a considerable amount of exterior work done, but a lot of the work will start focusing on the interior there, so that's great. The NFM, again, is still scheduled to open in January 2027. Exterior walls, you can see they're going up now, so we anticipate the exterior walls and the roof of the warehouse, which is about 1 million square feet, to be done end of August as well. And then we're putting walls up on the retail, so you can see more of that. With regard to the hotel and convention center, as I've done with the last 2 jobs, I brought over 5 executives, and I told you I would. So I wanted to introduce Cody Wheeler with Cadence McShane. That's doing the hotel and convention center, and he'd love to put a face to a name.
Hi, I'm Cody Wheeler, with Cadence McShane, the general contractor. We're building the Cedar Park Hotel Convention Center. We got kicked off about a month ago, so things are progressing quite well.
You kicked off, you kicked off.
A little bit of rain slows down at the game, but we are rocking and rolling, so great experience so far. The other general contractors on site, the ownership group, neighbors, everything else have been very pleasant to deal with, so greatly appreciate that. But yeah, it's a 7-story hotel, 30,000 square foot convention center, and attached parking garage, so definitely excited to deliver this product. It's been Marriott brand with restaurants, social spaces, all that good stuff, so definitely excited to be building here in Cedar Park. And if you have questions or anything else, just let us know.
So you got your crane up, when do you plan on topping out? You're finishing on concrete?
Great point, our tower crane's up right now, we're planning on topping out the concrete mid-October. So it's going to really start to rise in the next 2 weeks and months.
So 30,000 square feet, I can't quite picture that. What could you tell us about? Is that going to be 15 on 15, or is it
No,
gonna be all one?
it's all one floor, single story. The
One
hotel is
single
7
story?
stories, it sits on the west of the parcel. To the right is the convention center, it's all one building, all connected common areas, connected to the parking garage that way as well. But it's actually a 50,000 square foot, gross square foot building. There's 30,000 square feet of usable, convention and gathering space. So some of that's pre-function, some of it's actually breakout rooms. I think we're close to almost the number, but we're close to like 20 breakout rooms.
So that'd be about as big as like a super Target or?
So, I don't know if you're familiar with like the Scottsdale development over here, those warehouses, it's about the size of one of those. Those are 25 to 30,000 square foot footprints.
Okay.
So the convention will be roughly one of those sizes.
So you should be seeing more on that in the next month or so. They wanted to do a press release on it with images and renderings, but we're working through approval. We just worked through approval yesterday, so they should start seeing that. So.
How tall is it gonna be inside that room? It's not gonna be your standard 10, 12 feet, right?
Yeah, I think it should be 18 feet plus, depending on the room.
So it'll vary.
There's like a main ballroom area that'll be 20 plus feet, and there's breakout rooms that are smaller, 2,500, 5,000 square foot rooms that are excellent smaller.
Good. Like I said, I just wanna make sure that you guys, they have a chance to see what, the people that we're working with, that you guys represent, and we really want to champion that effort. So thanks for coming, Cody, I really appreciate it. With regard to ongoing work and upcoming work, you can see the site is what the site is. The New Hope itself, all of the road work construction has shifted to the north of New Hope, so now it's basically all on our property, which we're obviously getting back over, but those 4 lanes that are in place right now, I think are working really well. I know it was a little bit cumbersome at the beginning, and well, we got through all that, but I think traffic flow should stay as good as it is now and continue to get better as we continue that expansion. Good.
So I was surprised after the last meeting, I started seeing a car park where the water transitions into Blockhouse area. It was private, like there was some tarps up, but
there was a car parking back there quite a bit, and it was, you know, sectioned off so that we couldn't see back there.
I just gotta go back, I just don't know exactly where you're talking about.
It's where the water goes from NFM property into Blockhouse, where the drains are.
Little pocket park.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
On Creek Run.
Yeah, so that was just kind of weird, I don't really know what was
Was
going
it
on.
a current, like a one-time occurrence, or?
It was about a week that that car was parked there, and it seemed to be, and up in the grass, and it was, you know, sometimes it was behind the. Do you guys recall?
It was only during work hours, or was it all day long for a week?
It was like all day long for a week, like, it was the same car.
If I hadn't heard about it, no one, I mean, if you can ask Director Stanton, the second I find out about something, we did, I didn't know.
Anyway, my question is,
Yes.
right, I understand that things happen and you don't even know the details. What can we expect there for the duration of the process, so that when we see something unexpected, it's time to phone you?
Well, that's a great segue into my next comment on here. So it's the buffer zone, the 30-foot buffer area. And the neighbors back there have been incredible to the fact that when I'm back there, or any of us are back there, they're climbing over each other's fence. Hey, what did Jim say? What are we doing today? And whatnot. So we actually have a conformance walk, planting conformance walk this Friday. So all of the trees have been planted, the whatever it was, 55 trees or 250 shrubs have all been planted. The temporary irrigation, permanent irrigation is in, the temporary irrigation is in, it's actually up and running and being tested as we speak. So we've taken down all the screen fences you can see, we've taken down all the chain link fence, we've been able to alleviate SWIP measures because now we are replanting and we're irrigating, we're gonna do all the hydro mulch or the hydro seed there. So it's going to be completed by the 17th of July. The whole buffer zone will be completed up to and including re-sodding where we entered in the construction access agreement.
And will you guys be maintaining that sod, or is that?
It's not sod, it's hydro seed. It's a native mix hydro seed that's going back in the 30-foot buffer area.
Okay,
So,
and
yeah.
will that be maintained by you guys at all, or is it just gonna grow?
The intent is to get it back to its natural vegetative state, but if you can look at it and see what we've done back there, it'll be maintained on a quarterly or bi-annual basis. It's not gonna be mowed every week, you know.
Okay, yeah, just, we've got schedules for annual, biannual, quarterly, and
Yeah.
weekly.
I can't speak exactly to I'm not an operations guy, I don't do the operations of the store, but I know that's why we put that massive gate back there, so they can get equipment through there and maintain that area.
Okay, so if we ever notice that it's getting nasty back there, or litter's piling up or something like that, then we can contact you guys?
As a good neighbor, yeah, we would love some of that, and I'm not saying that the fact that we may not maintain it on a weekly basis, doesn't mean that if they won't go back there and look at it on a weekly basis or not.
But I just wanna make sure, hey, you guys have abandoned that, it's, you know, no
We haven't
man's land
abandoned
there.
it. We absolutely
Gotcha.
haven't abandoned it. It's
Okay.
been an integral part of this project, that was part of the agreement that had to be made with the Black House Mud to prevent that, to
Gotcha,
provide that 30, we absolutely no abandonment at all.
okay, I'm just looking forward to what to expect and.
Yeah, no,
What's going wrong?
it's still our property, we took down fences because we want it to look beautiful and people in the back, some of the people in the backyard are taking down their fences that back us because now they get the solution of this amazing backyard.
It looks great so
With
far.
these 20-foot, we didn't put in 2-inch caliper trees, we put in 4-inch caliper trees, they're 20 feet tall. We put in 50 bucket plants, not 5-gallon bucket plant you would buy from Home Depot. Those are bad, I'm just saying, it makes sense, it's a significant amount of money that's been invested in it. So I appreciate your patience with it, I know it's dried out a little longer than it took, but some of it was about getting the plant stock, making sure we had the right trees, the weather was a little bit of an issue, access slowed us down a little bit, so. Like I said, July 17th, we will have that, our portion completely taken care of, the temporary irrigation will be up and running, it's vegetated, and then the construction access area that John and I are working on, that'll all be resodded, and that's all been approved by your landscape, the sod's been approved and spec'd by your landscape designers, as well as, actually, we're using the Bermuda shade mix in our area as well, so.
Great.
We're doing everything we can to stay in conformity. I think the big takeaway there is the neighbors. They've been such good people, I really enjoy this, so. Think, the early morning pours, I think, as you guys have noticed, it's slowed down considerably. So everyone was off really, putting their best foot forward to get as much done as they can. Like I said, the Sampson portion should probably, I don't think there'll be any more, early morning pours. I know the game's been changed. NFM store portion, we'll probably have a few more, but then Cody and his team on the hotel, Now, they'll start to pick up again, I don't know, probably in a couple weeks, and probably after the 17th of this month again, it's probably the machine for. They'll start doing those early morning pours again, and they will be extensive through that October date, and then, those early morning pours should start. Another good aspect of it is we anticipate starting in late August or October, actually starting to pave that site. So it's really gonna help with the dust mitigation. Now, you imagine it's a 117 acre site, that's gonna take a long, we're not gonna put down pavement, and this is solid concrete, we're not gonna put down concrete, it's gonna be done, so it's gonna be areas that dry and areas that are left untouched, but all the paving will be done by late July, August of 2026. We'll start the paving, and it'll really help with, some of the dust. I know it's been hard, but it's either the rain or the. We can't catch a break, but you guys have been great, appreciate the love of glass and Facebook. Alerts you're putting out, so. I think that's really all we have. You guys have any questions?
The Creek Run, do we have an update on Creek Run and PEC or?
Oh my goodness, I passed out the dividend, I went out of order, that's what threw me out, so, I appreciate that, Becky. So, along Creek Run, on the north side of Creek Run, on the south side of Creek Run, we will be installing a PEC duct bank. And that has been, it's on the City of Cedar Park property, it's in a right of way. There will be no disruption to, utilities or any outages. There will be some tree trimming and trenching that will take place along Creek Run, because the original intention was for that to go overhead. PEC has decided to put everything underground. So we will be taking out some trees, and bringing in a machine to, basically, it's solid rock, as you know, so we gotta bring in the trenching machine, pre-trench everything, put ductwork in. And then we'll be boring under soft blockhouse track. So there'll be no traffic shutdown, there'll be a boring machine set on, I'm not sure if they're coming east to west or west to east. I think they're coming from east to west, from the project side to the Cap Metro rail line, that's the exhibit you have in front of you. The duration of that work will be, the majority of that work, all of the heavy equipment work, all of the disruption along Creek Run will be completed by August, I think 13th was August 18th is the date that we have, so before school starts. That does not include PEC coming out and pulling conduits and pulling wires and making transformers hot, which is, they're only working at a transformer to pull, so they get fire. So, that's the big update. I mean, we run it through, David Gray, David did engineering as well, general about, as well as, General Henderson and also Director Logan. So everyone's in the loop on it, we're good to go, we anticipate starting that work as early as next week. I highly doubt it, because it's a holiday weekend, it'll probably be that following Monday the 7th.
So just confirm, you said August 18th is when it'll be completed?
That's when the major work
Okay.
along Creek Road will be completed, so we won't have construction people out there, we won't have flaggers out there. There will be a big grinding machine that will come in here to pre-trench that, it's solid rock.
I think Leander starts around the 12th or 13th of August, so we may want to reach out to the school and just make sure they know.
We'll let them know, I don't think, I'm almost positive that I can't expedite the schedule.
That's fine.
It's not because of us, it's because of we're being handcuffed by utility providers, so it's like, okay, we'll get going, we're 100% ready to go.
Okay.
So I actually kind of put it right on the plate. Yeah, we'll get a hold of the superintendent over there, like we typically do.
Perfect.
We're not gonna, if they're still out there working, we won't start till 9:30 and we'll be done by 2:30, same rules we always follow.
Yeah, you guys are great at that. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Awesome. Alright, thank you much for the reminder.
Thank you.
Alright, thanks everyone.
We appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Alright.
Nice to meet you, Cody.
Oh, I got a question.
Please.
Chicken tenders. You mean like a person that, I get them for that. I'm sitting here going, they're raising chickens, but never eating them.
That's the one, it's
Chicken
a
tender.
co-op for.
Oh. Gotcha. I'll sleep better tonight. Alright, thank you.
Okay, so just to keep things a little more simple, we're just gonna go in order. Sandy will get to you in just one moment, if that's okay. So, item number 3, the minutes for the May special meeting and the May 28th regular meeting. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. 3-0, approved, excellent, okay. Report from the BHC Owners Association.
The school starts August 13th. By the way.
That's our meeting day.
Okay, so we are getting ready to rock and roll this summer. Line the Loop is on the Thursday, the 3rd. That's where we put the flags around the outer loop. We're gonna begin at 7 o'clock. If we meet here at the Walker House, then we'll have the flags here. If people will bring a drill and along it, I think that's what it's called. It helps digging into the ground when we've had no rain to get the flags in. So, there'll be notice coming out on that, pretty quickly. On the 4th of July, that is, kind of the big show, and I had notes. We have, 3 food trucks, free ice cream, the men's taking care of the porta potties and security. For security, I talked to Amy today, and because parking permits for the vendors is gonna be difficult because we haven't seen them. I'm gonna provide a list of who the vendors are so that they can allow them in when they're not in a food truck. The lemonade guys and the face painting people don't have big trucks.
Right.
So I'll provide that list to, Lisa and Amy.
And we'll have a security meeting this Friday, so we will update them again so that way they're aware of it.
Okay, and I'll have the list to you by
Great,
Friday.
thank you.
Okay. The Boy Scouts will be there in anticipation of a vote tonight on the mosquitoes. The Boy Scouts are gonna provide water stations, which doesn't have anything to do with the mosquitoes. But, they'll be around the park just for people to go get water there. And then we have the water monster that's all over by the food trucks, and that's all free. And then the Boy Scouts are going to provide, mosquito repellent to people coming in. I understand from tonight that it's on sale at Costco.
It was yesterday.
And if anybody wants to supplement the Boy Scouts budget on that, they are paying for that. Let's see, what else? Oh, and I understand that the fireworks are at 9:45. Okay, that's what we've advertised. And then on the 6th is when we're gonna take the flags down, and if somebody wants to just go out whenever, drop them off at Walker, we get them all put up and taken out of the way. And then, I'm sorry, I was ready through there. And then August 16th is the back to school bash. And that's homecoming, basically. We are telling our vendors that we would really like some direction a little better, unless you don't give us the answer we want. We really wanna do it at Tomlinson. I know the deal is with the Playscape, and so I know we're all really kinda up in the air. And at some point, we're gonna have to, pull the trigger and have it at Tonkawa, but we really don't wanna do it at Tonkawa. We just don't think that it will work as well as it does at Tomlinson. So if somebody could, just let us know.
With the schedule that we have today in the packet, we do see some pre-con movement by July the 28th. We will have a conversation with the amenities subcommittee before that date to give you all a better idea of what we intend on as far as having that vast amount of crowd. And if the schedule does go according to plan with the Playscape, I think Tonkawa is gonna be the place to be. But again, I'll let the board members and the amenities subcommittee really give you that direction. But just to give you the overview of it, that's probably what we're looking at right now.
Okay, and we just need to let the food trucks know.
Sure.
Because right now we're saying, well, it could be here, but it could be here.
Gotcha.
And then that is, I guess in September we have something, but it's not on my radar yet. So July 4th is the big one, and then back to school.
Are we doing a movie in the pool?
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, that is back on my radar. That is July 12th. It's movie in a pool, and it is Finding Nemo. And for kids 12 and under, they must have a parent, and 12 or 13 and above, they don't. It's $5, but for that $5, they get a hot dog, water, and Kona ice. So, and it'll be on Eventbrite shortly, we're just working on, getting that taken care of.
Sandy, I got a quick comment.
Yeah.
If you would. Being a former Boy Scout, US Navy veteran, we always adhere to a flag code, in those organizations. Now is not the time to fix this 4th of July. We've got a big 4th of July coming up. If you remember 1976, pretty crazy.
I graduated then.
What I would ask for you and the OA to do is to consider either obeying the code outlines, illuminating them if they're up at night, not letting them touch the ground, different things like that. Or maybe have something else that we could use to line the loop. You know, happy whatever centennial, whatever it is, but I know those flags are kind of old, but please consider something else or adhering to it for next year.
Okay,
And I hope that's a reasonable request, and
Sure.
it may still pass if you guys do it that way, but next year I will be against not going within the US flag code.
guidelines.
I don't know.
Okay, well, we try not to let them touch the ground, I mean, we knew that.
Gotcha, but it's also, they're to be illuminated at night if they're.
Yeah, that's the problem I see, but we'll work on it, we've got a year to do it.
I'm sure there's plenty of festive type of things that could be used in replacement and,
Well, there's luminaires, but they only last 3 or 4 hours. So that doesn't get us even through the first night.
right, I mean, you could put little 4th of July signs up, just not
Oh,
the
you're
flag, red, white, and
putting
blue.
flags is what
Just
you're
not the
saying.
flag, right? But whatever you guys opt for, right?
Okay.
Just brainstorm and hopefully we'll have a solution that can keep us within the
Sure,
code.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you so much, Sandy.
you know this.
Excellent, all right. Item number 5, Deputy Devon. Anything significant to
I haven't seen anything in reports lately. I know there was some talk about last board meeting about people not putting enough information in their, dailies. I've talked to them, so he is gonna start putting more information in the dailies. 4th of July, I believe, I said we already have 4 or 5 deputies for that 5, so we'll be covered on that end. The e-bike situations or the electric bike situation, me and Billy are still trying to sift through the traffic code to try and figure out everything, because since it's such a new thing, they have, new traffic code violations for all that stuff, so we're gonna try and go through it and which, laws we can enforce, and then we're also gonna try and make like a little cheat sheet, so I can send it out to all the deputies in the mud, so they can have a better understanding of it too.
And I can speak just a little bit on it, cause I've been logging notes and stuff, because it is a huge section, because it breaks down class 1, 2, and 3 e-bikes, and then once you get larger wattages on these battery packs, they fall under e-motorcycles. So just to touch base, just so you'll have a little bit of understanding, so there's 3 classes of e-bikes, class 1, 2, and 3. E-bikes with motors over 750 watts that can exceed the 28 mile per hour minimum, they're not considered e-bikes, they're actually required e-motorcycles, and they're actually deemed as motor vehicles now.
So even if they're going at 15 miles an hour, they're the bigger class? So let's say I had that, I don't have a license plate on it, I don't have that, it's not essentially street legal. But if I'm just pedaling it at 15 miles an hour,
There's no pedal on these, they're not pedal assist.
okay,
The e-bikes are, they have to be. But when we're talking about the e-motorcycles, it has to be a battery, because they're non-combustible engines. So over 750 watts, they're required motorcycle license insurance, registration. The problem is Texas won't register those kind of vehicles. So there's some catch-alls in that. And on your class 1, 2, and 3, e-bikes, it breaks it down in, so on class 1 and 2, there's no minimum age to operate and no helmet requirement. So whenever you get up into the class 3, which is less than or equal to the 28 miles per hour and a battery wattage total of less than 750 watts, the class 3 is gonna require a minimum age of 15 to operate, and anyone under 18 is required a helmet on a class 3 e-bike. So there's a whole lot to it that we're all still trying to sift through, because there's a little bit of conflict with whenever you jump into the bigger classes than the 1, 2, and 3, and the requirements, and then what Texas DMV or the state of Texas will and will not do. So we're still trying to figure it out 100%, but a lot of these things, these are brand new, especially these bigger packages.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more clear. It's just we've been reaching out to DPS DPS highway patrol and getting feedback from them. So we're still trying to package it all together. So when we run into them out here, it's gonna be a touch and go thing. We gotta figure out what they have, because I've already stopped several of them out here. And actually, from my experience, the kids have been super respectful. And regardless, so like on your class 1 and 2 e-bikes, they still have to fall under and abide by the same laws as a traditional bicycle does. You know, they can still be operated, they still are required front headlamps, rear red lights, warning lights, hand signals for turning, stuff like that, like you would on just a traditional bicycle. So they're still gotta follow the rules of the road, if that makes sense.
So I think we're getting some complaints, and we're in a gray area of what we're going to be enforcing right now. As enforcement, as you guys determine, okay, class 3 is, you know, what you're gonna do. If we can get the information that you guys are using as sources and what, if I call up and I'm like, hey, I see a class 2 and it's doing 15 miles an hour, but he's just doing, you know, whatever, that's not something that you guys are gonna go interfere with, right?
Well,
Or
it
it depends
we
on
still
how-
answer all calls for service, most all calls for service. So if it's something that's reckless, something that is criminal, like mischief to the park, stuff like that, we'll still come and handle that stuff.
Right.
Now, depending on what we find out in regards to the bike itself, we have to look at all the specs on it, right? To determine what class it's gonna fall in. And we'll handle it accordingly then.
Right, so what I would like to ask of you guys, once you guys have that information, and it's what you're able to react on, get us a copy of that, and then we can ask the newsletter people, this is what is okay in Blockhouse, this is what's not okay, and this is, you know, if the police are called on bad behavior, you know, not outlined here, then you can expect, you know, getting pulled over and talking to the police or, you know, something like that. But can we ask that of you, Deputy?
Yeah, once we
Even if it's just some links and stuff like that, we'll aggregate it to like a news story.
Yeah.
But I'd love to get that, just, if we've learned anything in the past few months, communication, you know, getting out ahead of things
Yeah.
is way better than reacting when, you know, when 3 guys are in the slammer for doing wheelies on class 3.
Well, right, really, it's always been illegal.
Excellent, anything else of consequence?
Yes, if I get out, are you gonna cycle, are you gonna pull me over?
That's not really.
Excellent, all right.
Did
Thank
you
you,
say
John.
wheelies are always illegal? Wheelies, did you say that?
Like you, like
Riding
you
them,
see
now
when
hopping
you're riding
around.
around, yes,
Yeah.
it's falls under reckless driving.
Okay,
Reckless
that's all I wanted to make
operation.
sure I heard you say, thank you.
Excellent,
It
okay.
happens on 183A.
It does a lot.
Excellent, so if there's no other items on that, we'll move to item number 6. report from and directives to Premier. Mark, let me put you front and center here. Mark's packet is in the, information is in the packet, is what I meant to say. Any questions for Mark on that item, on the general report? Yeah. Mark, anything, significant you wanna run us through?
No, just, I believe everything's been in the report, just the, incident at, Apache this past week. We had the filter go out, we're working on getting that replaced, but Apache is up and running now. Thankfully, we were able to get it up and going for the swim meet. And everything seems to be going pretty smooth this summer. Few residents complaining about the additional swim lessons going on outside of ours. We are watching that and cracking down on that and really just enforcing all of your rules. Lisa did a great job with getting us some new signs for the pools that have a QR code that link back to your official rules on your website. So all of our staff have been familiarizing themselves with those rules and making sure to enforce them. So we definitely appreciate all of your support and look forward to keeping going this summer.
Excellent, thanks, Mark. Let's go ahead and move up item number 14, water slide inspection report from Splashtacular, since that's the other item that Mark is on. Mark and Lisa?
As far as Splashtacular, Mark and I will be going through the report and trying to get things ready for the budgeted season for 25-26, so we can tackle any of those items. Mark is actually working on the inspection sticker that goes on the slides to cover them for the next year, and is working with the attorney as well as the, who is it from? Let's see, with TML as well. We're getting that taken care of. There's nothing else to report.
Excellent. Mark, anything you want to add, sir?
No, the report's very detailed. There's a lot of stuff in there. We have fixed some of the caulking that we did that started to separate. So we've gone back and repaired that already. We're going to continue to keep an eye on that just to make sure that it stays. That's something that all slides face as the caulking starts to separate, comes apart, but we'll keep an eye on that, keep that going for you. There's very few, I think there's 3 or 4 little bitty nicks on the gel coat on the inside, but none of them are down to the fibers. So we're keeping an eye on that, making sure that there's no hazards as far as in the ride path or anything like that. And then, as Lisa said, we're working on getting the proposals to get the slides fixed, but overall they're in great condition. There's no issues, there's no major issues with them, although you'll see a lot in the packet, you'll see a lot in the report, which is great. We want to know all the little details so we can keep an eye on those things and get them fixed as we can.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions for Mark or Lisa? All right, then moving on to item number 7. Mark, you are good to go, sir, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, item number 7, Clint, there you are.
Yes, sir.
1 second, sir, let me put you there. Excellent, okay, great. So, 7A, proposal for mosquito treatment for 4th of July celebration, 5549. Excellent, so, Clint, you wanna walk us through, I know we talked about this a little bit at the last meeting, but, anything in particular you wanna draw our attention to?
It's basically a fog treatment that covers the areas of Tonkawa, Comanche, and Tumlinson.
Okay, great.
That, just really quick, that seems to contradict the map that we saw yesterday, at the last meeting where Comanche wasn't included. Has that been updated? Did we get the wrong map last time, or what's going on there?
I believe it includes, I'm sorry, I don't have a color map in front of me. I believe it includes at least the front part of Comanche along the road where the sidewalk is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. That's Comanche's not in the orange there.
Right.
But.
Right. Okay, so do you wanna go around the table? Robert, you wanna go first? Start you.
I just talking about the mosquito treatment.
Yeah, just this proposal.
I'm a no on it. I think that everybody should expect there's gonna be mosquitoes. Even if we do a fog treatment, there still could be mosquitoes, especially if it's windy, they're gonna blow in from other places. We should, point out that it's been done in the past, but we're not going to be doing it. Maybe get some repellent, or I think Boy Scouts are looking to volunteer, but we don't need to completely drop our guard. But I am not in favor of $12,000 for a treatment that, for something that can be kind of expected.
Gotcha, okay. Director Sanfield?
I actually agree with Director Young. I don't think that it's appropriate of us to spend money. If you are planning to go to an event, you take your own bug spray and you make sure you take care of yourself and your own family. I know there's plenty of other things in the budget that we could put 12,000 towards.
If I could add, just talking about for next year perhaps, there are significantly better options for this with the dunks, which I've used to some success in my backyard recently. That might be something that the garden people, we could spend, you know, like, hey, $1,000 if you guys do this for, 6 weeks up to it, we would have good results. But let's, just like they did the Christmas lights, that might be something that they're interested in. I know that Monica and Mark have both spoken against the mosquito treatment, but they're also holistic, and I think that, like, all the research I've done is those dunks are what do it, long-term solution, but let's take a look at that into next year, but for this year, my comments.
Okay. So my thought is also, I think it's been limitedly effective in the past, and it is an expensive treatment. I wonder, Sandy specifically mentioned the Boy Scouts and increasing their budget. I don't know a good number off the top of my head, but perhaps we could direct Lisa to use a portion of that $12,000 to purchase more. I think she said they were on sale at Costco or wherever, to kind of supplement that budget, make sure there's a lot more of that out there. What do you all think about that?
That's fair.
It would be bug spray, it'd be personal bug spray,
repellent.
bug repellent, as opposed to spraying, fogging the area.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Okay. What do you think in terms of, any thoughts on numbers?
If y'all wanna put $1,000 to it, I'm happy to, like I said, go to Costco and purchase that amount and provide that to anybody that's willing to spray other people.
We could also consider with some of that, I know that neem oil and peppermint oil are good. Maybe talk to the garden people about spraying that down, put a tablespoon per gallon into that. And it's a great mosquito repellent, but it doesn't hurt anything.
Right.
But I think
I don't know
$1,000 budget, however it gets meted out, is good.
I have no idea how much bug spray costs. I use holistic options also, but I wanna make sure that is 1,000 going to cover enough?
Clint, what do you?
I don't, somebody,
I don't know if Clint would know
I
that.
wasn't recommending y'all pay for it, I was recommending the citizens, since it's for them.
Sure.
So like 3 bottles is like $13, and bottles go a long way, so,
okay, so $1,000.
yeah, $500 would cover probably everybody in attendance.
Okay,
So then, with that, motion? What do you do?
I will motion to put $500 of the budget towards personal use bug spray.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so, Sean, did you get that?
Got it.
Okay, great. And then, is there any motion on any affirmative motion on the proposal? Sounding like there's not, okay. All right, thank you very much, Clint, we appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so 7A is done. 7B, we are tabling, to the July meeting with the unexpected absence of, 2 of our board members, directors. Let's do 8. Tyler? We moved on here.
There I am.
There you are, sir.
Good evening, everybody. For bills and invoices,
Dismissed the last online, but is Clint dismissed? Do we need him for anything else?
No, he's actually gone
Okay, I just wanna make sure, if we're sending one way, then like,
Yes.
let's give them the same messaging, okay.
Absolutely. Tyler, you're up, sir.
All right. For bills and invoices, we have checks 10,086 through 10,134. We have 3 wire transfers, your tax transfer, a transfer from your tax pool to your manager's account, and then a transfer from your operator account to your manager's account. I've included a document that will set up automatic transfers from that operator account to the manager's account, just so I won't have to initiate it each month. If it has Ursula's name on it, one of the other directors can make a strike through and sign that document. We currently have 3 CDs. Next one's set to mature in July at 5.25%. We're going to most likely renew it. The market's currently at 4.3%, so we're hoping to get somewhere around 4.5%. For tax collections, we're at 98.7% collected, which is good. We budget for 98%. I also have one more document, which is for moving our funds, our money market funds from Tex Pool to Texas Class. And the reason is Texas Class just has higher interest rates. So trying to take advantage of those. Also, this item was tabled last month, and I don't know if we want to go over it, but for positive pay, I know we're missing a couple directors, but so is that something we want to discuss today?
Tyler, we got that at the end of the meeting, at the last
Yes.
meeting. We
Oh.
swung back and got it at the end.
Okay. Was it approved?
Oh, yes, it was at the very end.
Okay.
Yes. Excellent, okay, so we need action on the payments of bills and invoices first, right? Do you hear a motion?
I motion.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 3-0. Excellent, and the fund transfers as well, right? Yes, okay,
I motion for the funds
Yeah.
transfers.
okay. Second,
Second?
all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. And Tyler, the movement of funds from text pool to text class, do we need board action on that or just the signature?
No, just the signatures on the document. We don't need board action.
Okay, excellent. And then, so we should be on item number 9 then? The report from the Finance and Audit Subcommittee is in the packet. I don't know that there's anything beyond what Tyler covered that needs to be discussed. Excellent, okay. Item number 10, Lisa, Crossroads.
Item number 10, you can find the report in the packet starting on page 70. Their water losses come in at 16.47% for the mud. On page 74, you'll see that they sent out 4 termination letters, and your accounts receivable looks great. They only have 1 write-off in the amount of $61.02. I'll need a motion for that and approval.
I motion.
Second?
All those in favor of the one write-off for $61?
Other than that, you have AT&T fiber installation. AT&T is making a final decision on when they're able to start, but they have submitted a new map that we will put on the website project page. They are expecting for hopefully in the next couple of weeks to make that decision on when they will start, but they have already decided the areas.
So there were sections, they did a couple of them earlier, I know that they just did another section, so they're talking about the 4th and final section?
I'm not sure if it's a final. I do know that the 4th section is going to be Dana Cove, this area here. They're actually gonna pull a wire even up to the pavilion. It's gonna actually cover, I think, the back portion of Tumlinson as well.
Okay, some of the residents in the first 2 sections that were completed already have access to the fiber. Does anybody know how long it takes from when they drop the cable to when it's available? What's going on?
I have it at my house, but I think it has something to do with the subcontractor, so I'm not sure that that's like a fixed time. Yeah, I think just because my experience was X doesn't mean someone else's will be.
Okay, and how long did it take after they did your yard?
A month, maybe. And then there was also the time though before I scheduled the appointment when they came out for the appointment. Okay.
That area is also gonna include Creek Run, Big Falls area, as well as the Meritage Chardonnay Crossing area as well.
Is Big Falls already done?
They have 3 areas that they have selected here on the map itself, so.
Okay. Excellent. Lisa, anything else?
That's all we have.
Okay, great. Item number 11, Crystal Green.
Alright, so over the last month, we've been working really closely with TF Parker, with Play Ventures and Trent's office. We've established a weekly call, Lisa is part of those, to make sure everybody is on the same page and has all the same information. Let's see, currently all subcontractors are lined up and ready, they have all the materials that they need, so that includes like the pergola and the shade structure, so that's fantastic news. We even received this morning photos from Play Ventures, which I can forward along of the structure being built, so super exciting to see pieces come together, which is wonderful, and always as a reminder, you know, they build one playscape at a time, so this will be one of a kind, it's gonna be amazing to see it all come together. We've received 4 requests for information from Play Ventures, and Trent's office has handled those immediately, so everything's moving along smoothly there. Looking forward, we're still on schedule for demolition to start in late July, and so residents can look forward to seeing the tree protection go up, the fencing come down, protective fencing going up, dumpster equipment, that type of thing. And one thing that we'll want to discuss in early July will be the place where we want to store the nice existing metal fencing. So that's something that we can follow up with, so you and I can talk
Yeah.
offline on that, absolutely. So that'll all happen in July, so that'll be here before we know it. I was talking with TF Harper, they said the demolition will occur very quickly. They'll only be working on demo for a few days. So once they get that done, they'll be fully prepared for the playscape shipment. And that's scheduled still for early August, so everything's on track. And one thing TF Harper was mentioning, if they see any areas where they can expedite the schedule, they'll do so, and I'll let you all know immediately. Yeah, so everything's going good, weather permitting, everything's been great. Yeah, that's about everything, and then the latest schedule from TF Harper is also in board.
We have gotten approval, we have put that online on the website project page as well, so all that
Yes.
information is updated.
Excellent. Wonderful. Any questions for Crystal before we move on? Thank you so much. Excellent. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to table the beekeeping considerations in chicken coop until July, when the rest of the board is joining us. Item number 14, we've already covered. Item number 15, report from amenities subcommittee. I know that memos in the packet. Is there anything of consequence other than that we
I
need
think
to?
the only outstanding thing, just to make sure you noticed in there, is Leander High School is no longer swimming
Yes.
at Apache.
And that is actually on our agenda as well. Yes.
Sean will go.
Item 25. Excellent, okay.
We could do that right now if you want, I think.
Do it right now.
As effectively described it, I think Lisa, you were actually closest to this. We had sent over an updated agreement that wasn't fundamentally different than what we've done in the past, and I think they just wanted to organizationally get into one practice facility, I think is what it sounded like, so. And you guys, just to confirm, you all had approved that agreement, and so they chose not to go for it.
Okay. Thank you for that. Welcome. Okay, we are on item 16, PR subcommittee. Lisa, you wanna,
Yes, memo is in the packet. As Sandy mentioned, we are gearing up for the 4th of July. We did receive approval from the Commissioners Court last Wednesday for the street closure at Jacqueline and Autry, butting up to Susan. We will have deputies at each barricade. Last year, we tried to manage that on our own. That became a little cumbersome for Travis. So we will have those barricades managed by Williamson County, and then we'll also have plenty of deputies in the park as well managing that also. We will be providing car tags for the vendors, as Sandy mentioned, as well as the residents that live on those streets. They'll still be able to have access to it, as well as a couple of their family friends, like the way that we did last year. So everything is a go for us on that side.
fantastic. Any questions for Lisa about the board? Okay, then moving on to item 17, reports from restricted covenants. There's nothing to discuss from Cam on 17, nor any pending litigation or reports from the subcommittee. I mean, everything's in the packet, but there's nothing of consequence, I think, that the board needs to take notice of right now. Jumping down to 20, Texas Postal Systems.
Reports in the packet?
Right, and then 21 Stormwater Management Program in
Nothing to
GES.
discuss at the moment.
Packet. And same for 22, report from Professional Service Committee, it's in the packet, and again, nothing really warranting the board's consideration right now. Item number 23, Lisa, general.
My memo is in the packet, I don't have anything else to add unless you guys have any questions.
I did not.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Sean, item number 24, anything to report, sir?
I also don't have anything else to ask. A few of the topics that we had tabled, I had some stuff on, but obviously we'll table that till next meeting. And we covered LIST, so I think that is all under legals now.
All right, well, the second half is not taking much of your time. Okay, items number 26, I don't think we have anything to talk about under Code of Ethics, nor the board subcommittee directives. In terms of future board meetings and agenda items, Lisa, do you want to talk about July and August?
I do have a couple of dates for July and August that I would like to mention and get those put into play for the budgeting workshops. We have July 9th that will work for 4 board members, and then we also have August the 13th that will also work for 4 board members. We've worked with Tyler to have him here with us so that we can go over the information that we're preparing for the 25-26 year.
What day of the week is that?
Those are gonna be Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, time, Lisa, is there particular?
We're gonna stay with the 6:30.
Okay. On that note, I know we've gone to 5:30 before, or some earlier times. I'd like us to consider moving forward to consistently do 6:30, so residents and directors.
And that's what we're gonna stay with. We're gonna stay with 6:30, so that people aren't confused and they
And
want to.
Wednesdays if possible.
Yep, and they are Wednesdays.
July 18th.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so one thing we'll mention, and we're gonna do more outreach as well, but for TDS, the July 18th curbs, in my head, it's curbside bulk pickup. So it'll be a scheduled coordinated date where TDS will come around, but it will be bulk pickup. So.
Residents don't need to call in for that. We have been advertising it on the July newsletter.
Absolutely.
They will start on Friday. Normally it's 2 days that they come into the district. And all residents have to do is just put their items on the curb. They don't have to call in. Again, we'll be doing this, I believe, 3 times a year. So this will be our first one, and then we will advertise for the next. And this is just their trial run, if you will. Given that it's the first one, we'll gather more information as we begin this process.
Yeah, so we got the July newsletter, so folks should be seeing that when they get this.
We really need to discuss a little bit more in depth on this. Is it okay that I bring some stuff to your attention?
I think so.
I think so, we could technically move back to one be formal,
Yeah.
or number 20, a TDS report, this is a TDS service, so.
Right.
My wife has a house in East Austin, and they have the bulk pickup like that. And for days in advance, there are people, Sanford and Sunning around, picking up anything and everything they can restore and stuff like that. We need to have a clear idea of what we're going to allow and not allow. I would like to see as much of this reused, recycled, repaired, resold somewhere else, right? But if we're going to be doing this, right, we need to be clear, like, hey, we are not gonna let anybody take this, no pilfering off of everybody's street side, or we can welcome it. Perhaps we can start leaving them out a day or two early, which they tend to do in East Austin. And things are just getting picked up and, reused and recycled. So my concern is, before this starts happening, we need to go ahead and have a policy for, are we going to allow this to happen? Or are we going to attempt to prevent it from happening? Because
Technically, you can't prevent that. If it's trash, it's thrown out on the curb, it's considered abandoned property.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but has anybody ever called y'all to complain about someone having their trash? Because people do that now. I mean, I've seen people on my street leave furniture out the day before, right? It's gonna fit in their trash, and people drive down the street and pick it up. So I mean, has anybody I guess, is there a complaint we're worried about?
I would like to avoid it.
Yeah.
If possible, because if this is a bigger deal, there are going to be a lot of people driving around. And as I'm familiar with, when residents see a lot of non-residents driving up and down streets, then they might get a little panic.
If I may,
We're gonna say, Lisa, I was asking you a question too in a second, actually.
we are advertising that we ask residents to take out their bulk items the morning of, so that we will adhere to also restricted covenants. So we are asking people to adhere to that rule, so, morning of.
Enforcement will also be a trick.
And so so when are they do we know when they're gonna be picking up? Is it gonna be in the afternoon or,
It'll be,
like, sometimes they get here at 6 AM and
No.
it'll be 2 days
It'll be
because
2 days.
of the
It'll be
sheer
2 days
amount of
picking up.
stuff.
So if they start at 6 AM in the morning and they miss a particular street, or if there's only a few, they're gonna scour the district several times and make sure that every street is picked up. So again, we ask that residents don't participate until the morning of, so that may help just a little bit as far as.
Okay.
Cause that was the question I had for you, Lisa, was I think that they're gonna try to make more than one pass, to make
Yes.
sure that all the stuff is picked up, because obviously, we hope everybody gets stuff out early in the morning on that day, but we know that, you know, people may have other things, they may be late, they're not feeling well that morning, like,
It's
so-
a 2-day process.
Yeah.
That's the way it was discussed and described to us. It's a 2-day process.
Okay, so mattresses, we know there's an extra charge, so they're not gonna be picking those up. And we are communicating that to,
That information has been
Um,
communicated.
I also know that, like refrigerators, unless they've been certified empty of the refrigerant, then they won't pick those up. But I'm not sure that that's being communicated, or is that also, we have a,
It's the same bulk item list that everybody does whenever they're at Germano. It's the same bulk item list. The list hasn't changed.
yeah, so you can't bring a fridge
Curbside.
to Jumano, right, we're just changing, not
The
what you can
location.
bring, we're changing that it's curbside versus have to take it to Jumano or call for a separate pickup.
okay, so I would like for everybody to have access, you know, the junkyard dealers and, you know, come and pick things up. I would like that to be an acceptable thing. Apparently, it's legal by law, but,
I guess I'm confused, like, I feel like these, I mean, I've seen these folks in our neighborhood anyway, like, I don't know what we need to do, people kind of go up, and these folks drive around the weekends looking for stuff
Right,
to
but
pick
they're-
up, and
but
as
they're
the
gonna-
deputies say, they're not hassling these guys, they're letting them, you know, like,
Yeah.
no, my knowledge, no residents are complaining, so.
once it's a published issue, I think it's going to increase. I don't think it's just gonna be like, right now, there's, every now and then there's something on the side of the road, or maybe it's on a Wednesday or whatever, but it's going to be a bigger thing, and there will be more people running by in trucks with trailers and stuff like that. So, right now, it's not against the law, so they're welcome to do it. And we're not gonna try and stop that.
I don't know that we could. You know,
Yeah, I don't think we have the authority to stop you if we want it, I mean, the only real issue from our end, we talked about this, was that, you know, we'll need to make sure that this stuff is picked up and gone, right? So that way there's not a restricted covenants issue, people then saying, hey, a week later, there's still trash on the curb, right?
or that they're not.
And that's why they're gonna make multiple passes to make sure that.
Or that they're not putting it out a week early.
Correct, yeah, that's the other two, you know.
If a mattress comes in to TDS in Mono Park on the drop off, we could, they're told, hey, we don't do mattresses. What about the people that do put a mattress out anyway, or a refrigerator
It's
out
not gonna
anyway?
get picked up.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be picked up, but can we ask TDS to have, hey, slap a sticker on it, or say, like, we can't pick this up?
I don't know if they do that, but.
we can ask Jamar.
Yeah.
I don't honestly know what their policy is when they do that.
I mean, one thing we might, probably, we can ask more, I think a perhaps more fruitful use of TDS's time might be that if TDS notes an address, has left out items that they can't pick up, perhaps TDS could arrange for somebody to contact the resident and ask if they want to schedule a pickup. That might be a somewhat more efficient use of their time.
We'll follow up with Jamar about that.
Anything along those lines, other than seeing stuff sitting out for
Yes.
more than 3 or 4 days at the same corner?
Well, and restrictive covenants would kick in at that point, if it's still.
Yeah, but it'll take a little bit of time, because Cam's gotta see it, they've gotta let us know, we've gotta send a letter, like, you know, I think, we'll ask Jamar, but I suspect TDS can probably reach out with, like, hey, do you wanna schedule a pickup for this item, since we can't take it now?
Okay. Great, so we are at the end of the agenda, so, unless anyone has anything else that's on the agenda. I'd accept the motion.
I'd ask that we looked into a survey, put it on the next agenda, I understand it's not there. To do a survey on what to do with the remaining park funds. But I would like to get a survey going on that. To what level do we wanna do hiking by trails or dog park or refurbish, Mono building? But, if we can get that on the agenda for discussion next month.
I will email, Congressman Brown and ask them to put it on that agenda.
I got it.
Or Sean's got it. Yeah. Excellent, okay, so with that, entertain a
A
motion.
motion to,
Second.
Sure. Great. All those in favor? Aye. No opposed? 4-0.
Good job, David.
Thank you.
that was some good multitasking.
Yes.
Good job.